Haywood. I'm 34 years old, and I was born on the island of Maui in Hawaii. I'm presently training with some new equipment to hopefully better my own speed sailing record of 30.82 knots set in Weymouth, England last year. And ultimately, I hope to beat the all-time speed sailing record of Crossbow at 36 knots. I like a fairly narrow board that doesn't float me. In fact, if I sit on it, I'd probably come up to my chest. My biggest problem is I'm going to come back this year with some boards that are smaller than what I set the world record on, and I might not be able to sail until it blows 30 or 35 knots, because these boards will be designed to possibly push the record up, but also designed with a lot less wetted surface on the bottom of them, so they will stay on the surface more. Anytime you get a board that has too much flotation, once you get sufficient wind, you will take that board into the air. So what you want to do is decrease the volume in your board so it stays on the surface. Let me look at this profile for a minute. What do you think? We take it in and compare it with a speed proto.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea.
I'd like to just compare them one more time, make sure.
Right, Fred, looks like we've got the same lines.
Yeah, it sure does, but you know, this one takes 20 knots to water start. I think this one's going to take 30 to 35 knots to water start. What do you think?
At least. Yeah, same racy lines, just less area is what you're going to need to stay in the water at going 30 to 35 knots, Fred. As far as the concaves, how deep do you want to make them in relation to your other board?
Well, I like the same concaves as this one, but actually a little bit more exaggerated for better control at higher speeds. So, why don't we continue? There's a difference of about 5.2 knots between myself and the absolute world record, which was held by a pro cat named Crossbow. 60 feet long and 1,400 square feet of sail. My board was 810 feet long and had 70 square feet of sail, 73 square feet of sail. So I was completely minuscule compared to this monster that holds the all-time world record. The difference between maybe riding Crossbow and riding my board is like a bus compared to a motorcycle. The bus doesn't feel a bump and I feel everything, and I'm much more close to the surface and I'm much more in tune with each little step of the way, so the excitement's increased. Oh, my profession is, maybe I should say I'm a professional funster. I just like to have fun, and I'm trying to work my life so I can continue to have fun. I want to make sailing my profession right now, and I'm working that way. I do the speed as a path to having that happen. I really prefer to be maybe in the channel or wave riding and jumping along the shoreline with a crosswind on good surfing type waves over speed trials, but I see speed trials as a means to doing the other fun things in the sport. This foil looks really good on this sail, but you know, the profile, what can we do about the profile to make it look a little better?
Well, this is a racing profile. It's meant to be turning a longer board. Well, I think what we really need is something that's a lot taller and narrower rather than something that has this aspect ratio here.
Do I have
Check
enough?
the bang, let the bang off a little bit there. See what the effect is. Now let's try this little adjustment here. Put the alcohol off a little bit. There, look at that.
Boy, you can get 10 or 15 shapes out of this.
I'd say it's more an infinite variety with all these adjustments.
Really?
Okay.
I think
Listen,
many
put it
people
down and
thought
check it
in
right down the line.
the near past that flat sails were very controllable and fast. But I think a sail that has more of a curve in the leading edge is a better sail than one with less. But it's very important to keep the leading edge a hard surface so it doesn't backwind and invert, which slows you down. And many of the conventional sails right now invert. Tip on the ground.
When you pull on it, it seems to open up the leach. We must be bending it to weather more than we think even. Especially when we make a taller, narrower sail plan, we're definitely going to have to compensate for that.
Is 168 right, Joyce?
Yeah, I got 168.
Perfect. That's what we're looking for. There we go. Joyce, my bang looks loose. Would you tighten it about an inch or two? Joyce Satavio is one of the best board sailors in Hawaii. She is my good friend, and she shares the same passion for the sport that I have. When I went to Weymouth, I used some new materials. I used a wing mast made out of carbon fiber. We came up with a lot of last-minute stuff. I'd never ridden the board I used. I'd never ridden the sail I used. I'd never ridden the mast I used. I'd never ridden the harness I used. Everything I used in that speed trials was being used for the first time. I had to figure out, with my sailmaker who was also there, Barry Spander, how to outhaul and downhaul and vang the sail. We had a vang running from the clew to the foot, which would, when we pulled it down, it would lower the clew and the grommet on the sail there. It would open the foot up like it was an exhaust, and it would tighten the leech of the sail. So I was a big dreamer again, putting all my cards on the table, figuring that, well, I'll take this trip to Europe, and if it doesn't pan out, it's okay. At least I made the effort, and I'll get back down to business when I get home and somehow pay my bills. But as it went very well, and I came back with a couple world records, and I'm excited about it now.
Thanks, Dad. It's a good run. It's 28.4 knots.
28.4?
Yeah.
Oh, my new equipment. We gotta go a little faster.
I practice with something similar to a wing. It has a fully battened sail, and I go down the coast a lot. I sail maybe 10 or 15, 20 miles broad reaches. I sail in Malaya Bay, flat water, at full speed, and I train in the waves a lot. The waves change the wind, so you're always watching the wind in the waves for changes. When I was 16, I was the top-notch swimmer from Hawaii, and I remember sitting on the beach watching my friends surfing and realizing that I was leaving the next day to train with a big swim club called Santa Clara Swim Club in California. And several months later, I improved 50 places and became the fastest backstroker in the U.S. history in 1967. My intention was to go to California to swim, to go to a good school. It really wasn't to continue my athletic career. I thought I was just mediocre and perhaps I could improve. I didn't realize I would improve down to first place. Likewise, I've been sailing for 4 years prior to going to Europe, and I had met Pascal Maka the year before, world record holder. He had just made the world record at Weymouth, and I jokingly said, "Hey Pascal, next year I'll come to Weymouth and break your record. What do you think about that?" And we had a good laugh. Inside of my heart, I really wanted to, because I'm going to go to make my career, or to do it turnabout in my career. This is my stepping stone.
And they are on sale in the Orville tent number 2. They are $10 a piece, and they are something that you must have. Yellow, pink, Mistral logo, Pete Cabina. Blue, red, dark blue, F2 logo, Fred Haywood.
Wave riding is a art form. It involves grace. It involves playing with more elements.
Still playing up outside, and that's the start of this heat. Fred Haywood to get the first jump of the heat. Fred Haywood! Fred Cabina heading outside, looking for a jump. He might be set up here. Fred Haywood might be set up for a jump. Yes! Pete Cabina in the air! Fred Haywood in the air! Nice landing by both. One more. Greg Yester, let's see if he hits this one. Greg Yester, he's got the ramp! Greg Yester! Fred Haywood, nice drive outside for Fred. Nice wave. Nice move off the bottom. Power move off the top. And it closes
It's almost like the dancers on the ice, it's almost like dancing is compared to track. Track is you go out there and you're going to race the time. Dancing is more free form and you make your own lines.
360 number 2 for Freddie! Nice work for Fred! Greg Yester, another nice wave, right in front of Ken Winner. Matchup. Cabina, Haywood, Winner, and Yester. This is Fred Haywood. Setting up for a jump. Pete Cabina, nice vertical wraparound move. Takes a spin out and keeps it there. Greg Yester, right in front of the O'Neill tent. Nice downwind moves. Powerful. Not much of a wave outside, driving around. Pete Cabina. Inside, this is Fred Haywood, because he powers the lip here.
I was satisfied with my 7th place finish at the O'Neill Cup.
Outside, Pete Cabina.
I lost to Cabrina and Waltz, but I did manage to beat Ken Winner. I try to sail with power and grace, let's say. I try to be powerful, but yet not totally aggressively powerful and trying to manhandle my rig. I try to flow with it with a lot of grace. So I have long arms like a gorilla, and I guess I have gorilla ability is what I always say. Big long arms like a gorilla, and I just hang on this big thing, and you got to be a bit strong to do that. The speed and the wave, you're getting double fear, let's say. If you're going real fast out on the surface of the water and there's a 10-foot wave about to break on you, and you have to make a decision at that split moment whether to throw a jibe and get out of its way or to go for it and go up in the air 20 or 30 feet upside down. And you're not sure which one to go because you don't know whether the wave's going to hit you in the face or whether you're going to go up its face. And again, that's a very fearful moment. And I guess we're on I guess what we're doing out there is we're kind of pushing nature to scare us. And the more scared we get, the more excitement and more fun it becomes.